they call the telephone.
Yes.
That
And
is
you didn't
hot.
know who you were just like answering
It's like
the phone.
early Tinder.
Yes,
Love
like
it.
who's watching me?
That's like the original dating
Yes.
app.
Oh, that was my favorite place.
When did they close it?
It was, I want to say it was open at least until the 2000s.
Wow.
I think that strip club is still there.
Oh, so it was a strip club.
In the
Behind
front,
Yeah.
and then in the back was, and they would let girls in because I was 18. So the girls could be 18 and up.
Wow.
Wow.
So strip club in the front, and then in the back was the original dating app where
The
girls
nightclub.
sat by phones and dudes called.
And guys, girls
and
could call.
Yeah, girls could call too.
I love that.
Very even playing field back there.
Very much.
Is that where you met your husband?
No, but kind of.
Oh.
Because my high school friend, she met a Nigerian, and the Nigerian was like, "Do you have friends?"
So that's how
And-
y'all got linked up.
Wow. So you got linked up from Carolina West.
Carolina West.
That's crazy.
That's legendary. That is
crazy.
legendary.
I love that.
And my half brother worked there as a bodyguard, so if he was there, he would be like, "Girl, you have no business being up in here."
That's interesting with half brothers though. Like a lot of times half brothers aren't that protective.
I have half brothers and they are.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm saying sometimes, like sometimes I feel like half brothers are like, oh, whatever. But like yours was pretty protective.
Yeah.
Mine
He was
were.
he was raised in Mississippi.
Oh.
So yeah, he was that southern. Yeah.
Did you grow up together?
No.
But you still had that, like, isn't it strange? I did not grow up with my brothers, but still, and we're not close, and most people ask me, they'll be like, do you have siblings? And I'm like, I'll spare you the story. No. But like, there's definitely this like thing where I'm like, real recognize real. Like I will not talk to them for years, but like when we talk, I'm like, got it.
It's really interesting how souls find each other. Because no, he's 5 years older than me. We weren't raised together. My mom had him when she was 17, and she kind of gave him up to his dad's parents to raise him. And then he went into the Air Force, and he just contacted me. And then he moved to LA, and I lived here, so we would get together. He's a Virgo,
That's cool.
so we just had that
Yeah.
connection.
Yeah, it's cool that you guys got to connect again later in life and be like, yeah, we're rolling.
So, welcome to separate bedrooms. We did not want to interrupt Patty. Patty always has very interesting things to say. But the reason Patty is here today is because Patty has been my longtime astrologer, secret weapon. I literally don't do anything without Patty. And like, I always call, I always check in, and not for nothing, Patty has never been wrong. There's been things that Patty has said that turned out in a way I did not expect, but when I go back and look at my notes to the letter of the word, it was correct. It was correct. And that is what I'm realizing. Like, if I can say one thing at the top of this episode about life and astrology, it is that like, it's not about being happy or winning or like having the most fun. Astrology has taught me a lot about life because astrologers or like astrological readings will tell you things are good for you, and in the moment when they happen, they don't always feel good. It's not always fun. It's super hard. But when you look back, you're like, wait, that was my journey. And so like, I want to say at the top, as we do an astrology episode and I introduce someone who's very special to me for many years, is just to say, when you think about astrology, don't think about it as good or bad. Think about it as your journey and like living the life you were meant and your spirit was meant to live.
For sure. For
Blueprint
sure.
of the soul.
Welcome, Patty.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, astrology, oh my gosh, it is my life. I raise my kids with astrology. I don't look at my chart every day or even every week. It's just when something gets really impacted or strong, or I feel like, okay, where's the energy flowing? Then I'll bring up my chart.
And so I have many questions for Patty today. This is going to be a much more interview episode than usual.
Yeah.
Usually it's free flowing, but like Patty, like I feel like we really have a connection.
For sure. And why? Number one.
We have the same birthday.
There you go.
You, myself, Justin Bieber, Chris Webber, Ja Rule, March 1 Pisces. Was it Javier Bardem also?
Yes, and the CNN Lemon.
Don Lemon.
Don Lemon.
Oh wow.
Yeah. A lot of
It's a
greasy.
stacked day.
Yeah.
Stacked.
It's a
Stacked.
big day.
I think Harry Belafonte maybe
Yes.
too.
Yes.
Wow.
March,
You know some things.
March 1 is a good one.
It's a good one.
I like it a lot. You're March 6th.
I'm Tyler the Creator. Shout out. Love you.
Wolfgang.
I really do feel connected to him. His lyrics, I'm like, yeah, no, same. I feel you.
Yeah, the Pisces energy is here.
Yeah, very strong. Julius, what's your sign?
Capricorn.
Oh, you are grounding us. Thank you very
Yes.
much. I appreciate all of that.
But also Cap Moon. So I like,
Yes.
I love Capricorns.
Yeah.
I'm like, ooh,
That
my
sun
people.
moon connection.
So Pat,
Vibing.
you have an interesting story though. And like when you told me how it is that you became an astrologer, because I think a lot of people will be like, well, why is she an astrologer and I'm not an astrologer? And the best answer I've heard from the really good astrologers in my life, because I've had weird fortune tellers and astrologers come across me since the age of like 10. And they've said things that happened and it's really wild. But every single one, the ones that are really good, it's not like you go to school. Something insane happens in your life and you realize you have a gift. So like, for the listeners at home, how did you become an astrologer?
So how I became astrologer, I was always intuitive, always psychic, always just kind of knew things, was a very quiet child, was raised in a lot of chaos, so I always looked within, very quiet and gentle soul. And then fast forward, I married a Nigerian, love at first sight. I met him when
And we're not doing Nigerian slander. It's just a fact. Patty's husband was Nigerian. It does not reflect on other Nigerians.
No, it
Shouts
does
to
not.
Nigeria. Love you.
Because guess what? One of
Just
my
wanna say-
favorite comedians is Gina Lashir. She has that show. She's amazing. But so I fell in love at first sight. We were talking about Carolina West and LA, and
that's how you kind of met.
that was kind of a backstory of how I got connected to him. And within 6 months, we were married. And I eloped. I was only 21. Literally, March 1st, I turned 21, and I got married on St. Patrick's Day.
Oh my God.
An Irish holiday
Yeah.
to a Nigerian. And foreshadowing, my love of my life is Irish right now.
Wow.
I know. Crazy.
The universe is
I
really just
know.
Easter eggs. Easter eggs all the time.
So we got married. I was an astrologer then. We got married when Venus was retrograde. And that's the planet of love. You never want to get married when Venus is retrograde. So I didn't know it at the time, but he came here. He was a doctor, and he came here to do his residency. So he got matched. He worked at Cedars. We were living this life, but he liked women. He liked the women. So that was always prevalent in our relationship. And I let him know, like even before I would get intuitive hits, like I would even know a phone number. And I found a matchbook in his pocket. I opened it up. I saw a number. I called the number. It said the name, Anna. I said, Anna, do you know Dr. Kamson? And she goes, you need to talk to him. When he got home, we had arguments. He goes, what are you talking about? How do you know this Anna? I said, hello, it's on this matchbook. He opened the matchbook, totally different number. The name wasn't on there.
Stop.
What?
I'm serious.
What?
Crazy. So then, of course,
Speaking of
chills.
old school dating though, and phone numbers, I just have to say this funny thing. When we first started dating, we were in the club one night, and this dude that looked like he was in the Bee Gees ran up on her and was just like, give me your phone number. And she's like, I'm with him. And he's like, just tell me your phone number. I'll memorize it. I'll remember it.
Yeah, but he was also definitely, he was out. He was out in the 80s, for sure. Like
he was out there.
His game was very much, I'll remember it, or I'll write it down. And like, he was running some old game.
He was running the ancient, like, rotary phone game. But
and I was
that
like, I was just like, you're thinking I even know my own number. Like, I have to look in my phone to look at my, I'm like a internet baby.
Yes.
It's not going to work on me.
So you kept finding women's phone numbers and...
Well, you kept intuitively knowing.
I would intuitively know things, and then after that, because I was so stupidly, blindly in love with him, he would say, "That's juju. You can't do that. That's bad." And so, because I wanted the marriage to work so bad, because I came from, my mom was married 4 times, my dad was married 3 times. It's like, I want mine to work. I said, okay, I'm just gonna make this work. So I had 3 children, and it was challenging the whole time, or 2 children. And then when I was pregnant with my 3rd child, Callista, which was in 1995, I decided I'm done. I've had enough. He invited a woman to the house who he was seeing to help him write a baby book, and I just knew. And she was Hispanic, so she was helping him write it in Spanish. And he asked me to make dinner for her. Oh. And I was pregnant.
Ooh. Oh my God.
And I was like, girl, you have a decision to make.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so from there I said, I'm done. I want a divorce. And then he's like, oh, no. It's the hormones. It's all of this. Just have the baby. And then after the baby, then you'll decide and we'll figure it out. And I'd always ask him to do counseling. He said no. So I had Callista. All the hormones were out. I was done. I said, I'm done. And so he said, okay, we'll go to counseling. So I'm thinking in my mind, yes, we're going to go to counseling to figure out how to divorce nicely. Mm-hmm. So we find one. She was in Santa Monica. I took Callista in her carrying bag, set her down, and I said to the lady, her name was Margaret, I said, Margaret, can you please help us how to divorce in a civil manner? And he was like that wasn't what I agreed on. So then, long story short, she created this space to say, okay, let's talk through this. And then she realized he had such a big ego that he wasn't going to accept what he did wrong, that we needed to be in couples so that he could see that other men have problems too. So we did couples therapy for a year exactly. And that last session, she just wanted all the guys to come to the session. It was, I think it was March 24th, and it was the Academy Awards were happening. So he went, and he was supposed to come home, and he didn't. And I thought, okay, because we were everything was good, and I thought, oh, this therapy is working.
Yeah.
He didn't come home. It was 10 o'clock. He didn't come home. I get a phone call. I pick it up, and I just heard, this is the Hawthorne Police Department. Do you know Patty Kamson? And I'm saying, yes. Well, he's here on sexual battery and $1 million bail.
Oh.
And I was like, my heart sunk, dropped. I had 3 kids. And I was like, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
It's like, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
So I had friends. They came, and we got him out. We got an attorney. I was just in shock. I was just going by the numbers. But by that time, it was like literally everything, my soul cracked open. And all the stuff about my intuition, all of that was like, it couldn't go back in the box.
Yeah.
And then I started following that path.
It's almost like you repressed it for
Yes.
so long. You repressed all the thoughts and feelings you had,
Yeah.
and it just breaks open.
Broke open.
Yeah.
And I feel like people can relate to that.
Yeah.
Because I've always felt, ever since I met you, just like an incredibly strong presence and like straight talk.
Yes.
You know, you've given me straight talk. I feel like every third reading, there's like something stormy, and I'm like, God, Jesus Christ, Patty, didn't we just get through like a Saturn? Didn't we just go through like Mars retrograde? Didn't we just go through a Mercury retrograde? And you're like, Eddie, it's your journey.
Yeah.
Like, eat shit, which is really the best advice anyone can give you, because I don't think an astrologer can solve a problem for you.
Nope.
But what they can do is, this is your homework. This is what's coming. Either get down or lay down. And I think the universe with you was like, you weren't getting down with it the way it wanted you to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it was like,
I was in resistance, strong resistance. And the thing that I share with all of my clients, just like I give the analogy of a weatherman. The weatherman tells you what the weather is. And it's going to rain, and you decide how you want to experience that weather. It's raining. You can go out naked and dance, or you can go in galoshes and an umbrella.
Yeah.
It's always up to you how you choose to experience. And just like the cosmic weather, the astrology weather, I'm giving you your personal cosmic weather to choose with. Like, you can be in fear and just say, oh my God, and wait for the other shoe to drop. Or you can wake up and say, okay, this is going to be challenging, but at least I have a timeline to know how long it's going to last. I'm not in the dark. And this is here to allow me to see who I really am.
and then also it's like we were talking in the beginning, it's about the journey. Like, you have 3 children from the relationship. He was convicted, right?
Well, no.
Or no, oh, he wasn't. Oh, so he didn't do it, or he did?
It's a long story, and I don't even know if I can talk about, but
no worries.
It's so literally 25 years to the month, last year, March, he did get arrested, and he was put in prison supposedly for 3 years.
Oof.
But he is now out this past March or April. But he's he's delusional. There's some problems that he hasn't worked through.
Yeah.
But I know I did my work for my children to make sure that they are healthy, happy, and confident.
And then from that moment, that's when you started to do readings for people? And
No, that's when I started to take classes. And go to conferences. Like, I would go to the international astrology conferences. I went to 2 in Chicago, Florida. I had a one-on-one with, I can't think of names these days. My brain is fried, but he's one of the really popular astrologers who's written a lot of books. So I studied with all the astrologers that people now have their books. It's like necessary to have those books in your library if you're an astrologer. Like Noel Till, he passed. There's another one, he's an Aries, he was based in Bali, and he just passed. So many trained, wise, older astrologers are passing, but their books are amazing. And I got to learn from them in person.
And did you know, like, how did you know you kind of like had this gift?
So I think similar to you, Eddie, I'm naturally a skeptical person.
Yeah.
And being so intuitive, I didn't have control over it. It would just happen. It would just come. And I was like, I don't know what to do. You know, people are like, what are you talking about, Patty? Why do you know this? And so then I've always liked astrology, but then I started digging deep, and it was like a duck to water. I didn't even really have to learn it. It just I absorbed it.
Yeah, and the thing is like, it really sounds like mumbo jumbo, but I'm gonna tell you a story without mentioning any names and without fucking anybody up, because that's not what we're trying to do here.
Right.
But remember, at the end of last year, around October, November, there was someone I was working with that did something slightly shady. That it didn't feel good to me and didn't feel good to other people we were working with. And remember, because she had told me her sun, moon, and rising, we were able to concoct the chart. And like, it was very interesting because you were like, Eddie, the issue you're having with her, it's like on the node where her karma is being taught a lesson. Like there's a karmic lesson being taught to her literally right now in this moment about the thing that you're having an issue with her with. And it's like, you told me I was the first domino to fall and that she would be resistant. It would be very difficult to talk to her about. I did. Everything was like that. And you were like, but it's gonna go till now. And now somebody else you work with is in the news where it's like, there's a quite karmic event happening. And I was just like, when that happened this year, I was just like, Patty, this is crazy. This is crazy business, because you've predicted a lot of things for me, but that one was one of the craziest ones.
Yeah, it's energy is all there is.
Because you remember you told me it would be a karmic lesson being taught for 6 months.
I don't remember all the details because I kind of go to a different space.
It literally was 6 months to like the week.
Wow.
Crazy.
You were like, there's a karmic arc and it will be 6 months. And I was like, what the fuck? I had to, when I read the news, I was like, I had to like give my neck a massage. I was just like, oh my God, I need to like disconnect the stem of my brain from my shoulder right now. This feels crazy.
The universe will deliver those lessons to you.
Yes. And it allows you to really honor your own intuition, your own gut. So yes, I am sharing things with you, but at some level, you know it. And then when things happen, then you start to understand how the universe speaks to you, because the universe speaks in metaphor and symbols and song and different people coming in your life and sharing their wisdom. It speaks to you to allow you to awaken and say, oh, this is where I'm supposed to be right now. Or, oh, I need to turn around and go out the door.
Are there any other kind of stories like the one I'm mentioning, without names and things like that, protecting clients, that you've had in the past where you're like, I told them that, I read it, and it like happened, like you were quite proud of yourself for?
So I think the biggest one, and the one that I can share, is because she was actually asked about it live on television.
Oh, word.
And it was Kerry Washington.
Wow.
And she was on The View.
Oof.
Exactly.
That's the astrology audience.
And Joy asked her, so I hear an astrologer told you not to marry your then at that time fiance. And she kind of said yes, and she didn't, and she wasn't in that relationship. But what happened was, I never told her, that's not my job. I told her, these are the things that you need to pay attention to. And then she asked certain questions, and it was up to her to decide how she wanted to move forward with the information that was given. So I never said, do not. I just gave her information.
But your gut was like, nah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, what's your gut on us?
I already did the whole chart on both of you.
Yeah.
And I gave you all the details.
Yeah.
And it's yes.
It's yes.
It's yes.
It is an affirmative yes.
Okay.
There's times I've called Patty panicking like you, Patty. You sure about this chart right? Are you like how sure is sure? Is we talking SURE sure?
Well, I
Is we
mean,
talking
his
SHUR
chart
sure?
has changed. He went from Taurus
Yes.
rising to a Gemini rising.
Oh.
Yes.
So I feel like I've came correct the whole time. You had a little change going on. You were like, I'm a Taurus
Wait, my chart
rising.
changed.
Well, you were
You're
a Taurus
Gemini
rising, and now you're a Gemini rising. So the
Oh, but
ruler
when
of
you
your
did our compatibility, I was a Gemini.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 Wait, so our risings progress?
Yes. The whole chart progresses.
Oh, so I went
Yeah.
from a Taurus to a Gemini.
Well, no,
No.
you were the wrong
Remember,
time.
you gave me the wrong
yeah,
time.
I had the
So
wrong
your
time.
rising time is based off of the time that you were born.
Yes.
So if that time
And you gave me the wrong
changes,
time.
Yeah.
You said, my mom told me I thought I was.
Yes,
And yeah.
but then you did do a reading after I gave you the right
Yes,
time.
yes.
So
Yeah.
it's
We're
confirmed.
good.
It's
We're
good.
good.
It's good. Some days,
Yeah.
like the eclipse last night, today is Thursday, there was an eclipse last night, around 9:30, I was like, I don't know about what Patty said, man.
So
Go
it's
anytime
like,
you want.
I don't know.
the energy is being seeded right now. So the most powerful time for 2023 is March, April, May, June. Things are being seeded for the next 2 years. So pay attention to where you're putting your thoughts, your actions, your energy, because that is what is going to grow exponentially. So if you're in a negative space, things are going to feel like, how come they never work out? If you are in a space of possibility, then, and that's the word I've been using.
I'm very positive.
This is a time of possibility. So start making the possibility that you choose and start taking action to create it. Now, we talked about Mercury going retrograde on the 21st, on Friday. That's maybe going to slow things down. There may be some disruptions, some little annoyances, but it's not like this huge thing where your life is going to come crumbling.
Yeah, we do Mercury retrograde frequently.
Yeah, we do it twice a year, 3 times a year.
Yeah.
I say just have a really good sense of humor when you miss your flight, when your clothes are lost, when the refrigerator breaks.
Don't try to do anything with technology.
Exactly.
My thing with Mercury retrograde is just like treat those 3 weeks like you're driving in a school zone.
Yep.
You know, maybe don't do drugs in a school zone. Maybe don't drive too fast.
Yeah.
Take it easy in a school zone.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Treat your life like a school zone for the little homies.
And any planets that go retrograde, it's about going within. It's not about starting anything new. It's really about going within. So Mercury is about the mind, how you think, how you process information, how you relate, connections, networking. So if your network is falling apart, if you're feeling like the people in your close circle, there are issues, this is the time to say, okay, let's kind of stop, let's regroup, let's revisit what we are trying to do moving forward in the future. Let's clean whatever needs to be cleaned and healed so that we can start fresh. That's the time. Mercury retrograde is the time to do that.
It's a nice little timeout.
Time out.
If things are clashing, just take a time out.
Yes.
Yeah,
like
what are
it.
the 2 eclipses about this season?
So eclipses happen twice a year. And you usually have a full moon and a new moon eclipse. So just to give you a little idea of 2020, there were 6 eclipses.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah.
So that is
2020.
very rare. 6 eclipses tells you the world was a hot mess. This year we're changing eclipse signs. So the first eclipse of the year was yesterday in the sign of Aries. Aries is the warrior. Aries is dun da 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 charge. And it was at the last degree of Aries, which is a critical degree. So that's also about an ending. So something really needs to be released to welcome in the new that you're looking to invite in. So then we're having May 5th, we're having a lunar eclipse, a full moon eclipse in Taurus, in Scorpio. And that axis, that cycle is ending, and it will end on October 28th of this year. And it started in November of 2021. So it was a 2-year arc of Scorpio Taurus going through it. So all of you out there, pay attention to your Taurus, Scorpio, Leo, Aquarius friends, and just kind of look at the arc, like what are they going through? Did they rise? Did they fall? Did they have things that they were struggling with? Eclipses really shift the trajectory of your life immensely. It's a time for change, good, bad, and everything in between. So
If I'm Taurus moon, how would that be hitting me?
So your moon represents your emotions. Your moon represents what you need to feel safe. Taurus moon needs security to feel safe, needs financial security, needs good food, needs just really nice things around them, being taken care of, feeling safe.
Yeah.
So that's where you're going to be triggered.
Yes.
If you are not feeling safe financially, if you don't feel like you're being cared for in those simple ways like food, sex, you know, all of the touch, all of those things, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. And you were saying, so this eclipse affected Aquarius, Taurus, Scorpio a lot. And, what
And
other
Leo.
sign? Leo.
Those are the fixed signs.
And so you're a Leo rising. So how would it affect Leo rising?
Relationships.
My 7th
It's her
house.
relationship sector. So it's squaring. The eclipse is what we call a square. It's it's a decision-making aspect. It's where it's like, oh, what am I doing? Where am I going? And it's like, go. It can be for good or bad or challenging. I don't like bad, but it's just challenging. And obviously, she has risen and she's made choices to allow her life to grow and prosper and connect. And she has her Saturn return. So it's like, there's a lot happening. And Jupiter was in Pisces. So it's like, a lot.
I think Aquarius was Saturn in Aquarius, which was in my 7th house. And now it's Pluto in Aquarius. So now Pluto's in my 7th house. Leo risings are going through it. It's not been cute for Leo risings.
It's a lot.
And everyone's like, oh, you're so fun. And I'm like, I'm not doing well.
I know my daughter's a Leo and she's making big moves right now.
Totally.
Big moves.
Would you say, so when an eclipse happens, say it's an Aries, and if somebody knows their chart and they can look at the house that Aries sits in, so for me it's my 9th house, I believe, would that affect the themes of 9th house? So that's kind of what you look at, that energy is like
and how it's aspecting other planets in your chart.
Okay.
So if you have planets at 29 degrees, then this eclipse at 29 degrees is going to aspect those other energies in your chart. Like for me, my 10th house, which is my most public area of the chart, it's where you're seen, it's your career. It's at 29 degrees Cancer. So this eclipse is totally aspecting how I am seen in the world. Hello, I'm doing Betty's podcast.
Wow, that's so, like, manifestation of this energy can be so literal. Wow.
Crazy. I mean, it's true though, like I do feel like we planted so many seeds in March. We started the pod in March. We got married in March. You planned it. And then it's like our lives have been taking off. Like just from the first week we did the pod, it's so funny like the way entertainment works. People were emailing me like, thought you were dead. Like, I mean, not dead, but they were like, Jill, welcome back. Like, thought you were. I was like, dude, I put a movie out 2 years ago. They're like, oh yeah, no, we mean like in front of the camera. And I'm like, you guys don't realize like I just took a break to like go do this thing. But it was funny and like a lot of opportunities started to happen. And then like from the first episode of the podcast, a restaurant group in London hit me up. And now we're opening Bauhaus in London.
Is this like official announcement?
Yeah, official. We officially
Nobody knows that this is happening.
Yeah, it's on Patty's episode.
So everyone in the comments that's like, bring back Bauhaus, get a flight to London.
We manifested.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and then all the shows that I've been working on are in really, really good shape. And like, there's a lot of other announcements coming soon. But like, everything's kind of back. It really feels like spring where, you know, like a tree goes barren. Yeah, like the leaves are coming back. There's fruit blooming. I'm like, whoa.
Well, the literal manifestation for you, I think, and it's, you have blind spots with yourself. So I noticed it with you, but it was that Mars like everything was great. Mars went retrograde and I'm not going to say our lives went to shit, but there was just, it was like, okay, time to face the harsh realities right now. And there was a lot of stress. It was like a lot of grinding for 7 months. And the second Mars was out of Gemini and it was out of retrograde. And it just was like the door opened and we were going. The car was going. I was like,
I struggle with Mars retrograde. Like terribly. It hurt more than my Saturn return. Like I didn't bug out for my Saturn return. Mars retro, I was crushed the last 6 months.
Because Mars is your passion, it's your drive, it's your vitality, it's your life force. So when it's being pulled back, you don't have all that capacity. And in your chart, as we talked about earlier, natally your Mars is retrograde. So it's like, yes, it's familiar, but it's still, there's this discomfort. And then where it was in your chart is what we call the dark house, the Pisces house. So there's things that spiritually and subconsciously, things needed to be looked at and addressed, about repressed anger, about just things that are not consciously in your everyday life.
Yeah.
And that's why a planet goes retrograde, for you to go within, to heal, to clean, to regroup.
No, it's interesting though, because it does feel like everything slowed down, so you were able to do that.
Yeah.
You know, because if you were go, work, how it usually is, you probably wouldn't have had that time to experience that transit the way that you needed, like go inside and figure things out internally.
There were two things I really realized in this Mars retrograde. Was number one, that I needed to clean house. Like there were certain people around me that I worked with that I just felt were, like, for lack of a better term, very fugazi. Like say one thing to you in front and do another behind your back, or like turn in their homework really, really quick but had not thought it through. And I was just like, it was a few people in my life that way. And like there were a couple deals that went away. There were a couple really big deals. Like we were gonna do a record label with a really big label and it went away. But like, to be honest, the dude that had offered the whole time, like since May, came to our house, offered us this deal, kept telling us so on and so on. Me and Natashia the whole time were like, all right, we're gonna take them at face value, but there's something about this particular person's vibe that doesn't feel honest or genuine. And it all shook out. And then I was bummed out. Like I think I started to feel it around like late October. And I could not put my finger on what was really bothering me until I'd say the middle of March. And it coincided with my parents arriving. And it was just like the final lesson was me with my parents, because I realized the things that are hardest for me are my trigger points with my parents. And for me, a lot of it has to do, and it has to do with anger, because I realized there are things that upset me that don't need to upset me. And I repressed it for so long because I knew it wasn't my parents' fault. It was simply the fact of being immigrants. And I know this is like a long answer, but what was really crazy was when we would get together with her mom to eat and my parents just do very Chinese things, like put all the food on your plate. Natasha's mom is a really healthy eater. She doesn't eat many foods. Like she really only eats chicken and some fish, and she wants it cooked very, very thorough, and she wants to serve herself and control her portions. And I'm like, I want to eat like Paula. It's healthy. She's very, very healthy. My parents were pushing everything on the plate. My brothers were putting everything on the plate. And like me, myself, I was just like, oh my God, I've told you guys before, don't serve Paula food. It's just like in Western society, one of the things we're attuned to is like women's bodies, women's appetites, like not to comment on a woman's body, not to comment on how much food she's eating. Right. Chinese culture, we don't do that. There's other things we're more attuned to, like family relations or whatever, or school education. But to women's bodies, we are just commenting, like not me, but Chinese people are just like, oh, you look fatter. You look,
but they were
better,
doing that out of love, and that's they were trying to welcome
like
her
Italians.
and show her, exactly,
like,
show
here's
her,
the food.
Like this is our food, we want you to take. Like she appreciated it. But
then at one point your mom was like, and I was doing it for her, but she was like, guys, now that we're all family, nobody has to serve me food. Please, like, stop serving me food, because I'll serve myself. And I was just like, damn, man, like, what really frustrated me as a kid wasn't that my parents meant bad. It was that they could not figure it out. Like, America was shouting things at them, and it just went right over their heads, because their brains weren't programmed to be attuned to certain cues, because every culture has language cues. Or body language cues, and the tonal cues. And I was just watching, and I was like, oh, fuck, this is what would like make my shoulder hurt as a kid, and my neck, and just, it started.
Stress you out.
Yeah, it stressed me out, and it would come into my life outside of my parents in that when I would work on creative projects, or I would do business meetings or pitches, I was really sensitive to how everybody looks, how they're feeling, paying attention. And if I had a partner that wasn't seeing it, it was so frustrating to me. And I felt like I couldn't work with anyone, and I couldn't trust anyone. And so the big lesson in this Mars retrograde was the first half was like, these are the types of people that don't work for you. The ones that are yes, yes, yes Eddies, and they don't know how to tell you what they really think, and like kind of do the Mars thing, they weren't for me. The ones that, but then the answer was not, don't work with anyone and just rely on yourself, which has always been my thing. The answer became, find people on your level and that communicate in a way that is complimentary or supportive or even pushing you. And then I found those members, and like I have, you know, a whole new team around me that we've rebuilt over the last literally 2 months.
Wow.
It's so exciting to like walk into spring and summer this way.
Yep. Yep, the energy is there for everyone right now. Even no matter how hard it is, whatever your circumstances are right now, it's challenging. The world is not cute. It's not cute.
No.
It's dismantling, it's falling apart. The lies are the truth are the lies. It's
There's
a hot
recession,
mess. All of that.
inflation.
People are angry and hate-filled.
Yeah.
You know, there's all of that going on, and at the same time, there's so much love.
Yeah.
There's so much opportunity and possibility. It's a matter of what eyes are you using to see and create.
And I've never been more excited for like where culture's headed in the last 8 years. I think 2016, we talk about it all the time, was like the last good year. We got great music, right? It was like Future dropped DS2.
Yeah.
And then like Kodak and Gucci came home, you know, but like I feel what 2016, it's been 7 years, and I feel like movies and TV are about to get interesting again.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, it's like when I'm having conversations with people, we're getting out of the same modes of storytelling that have been happening since like 2015, 2016, you know, like
And not because you're Asian, but I did watch Beef.
Oh,
Because
yeah,
my
yeah,
daughter
yeah.
told, because my daughter told me, she goes, Mom, it's so good.
Yeah.
And I watched it, and the reason why I enjoyed it was because I couldn't predict it.
Yeah.
It was like, what's happening? What are they thinking about? What
Yeah.
is she thinking? What's
I've
she
been
gonna
watching
do?
it every night.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I love the show.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It is.
It
Like,
was so good.
Great direction.
I watched it like that.
Yeah.
It was good.
Some controversy around it right now.
Oh, I don't
you
know, but
yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
it's not cute. I mean,
Yeah.
some of the
Yeah.
choices, who's
Yeah.
gonna do that?
Yeah.
But it is a mirror to what is happening in our world.
Totally.
It is. There's a lot of anger. There's
Lots.
a lot of it floating around. We don't know what people are going through.
Yeah.
You know.
Especially the people who decide to leave this planet, who come across like everything is wonderful. That's the one thing for me that it's hard for me to process.
Yeah.
Because there's no answer. There's
Yeah.
no answer because they're so loving. They seem like they have everything and everything is going so well. And then like that.
Going into the rest of the year, what's the weather forecast astrologically? If you're the meteorologist, how's it looking?
The cosmologist.
Yeah.
So, like I said, March through June, this is the seeding. This is where we're planting all the things that are going to start to manifest in the coming till 2025. So, as we know, life doesn't happen overnight. We make decisions every step of the way. And every decision you make, it opens up all these other doors. So that's why you need to make decisions to allow you to see the new opportunities that you will never know if you just stay stuck, what is it called? Strategizing.
Yeah.
It's like strategize and then make a decision.
Yeah.
And then you have new strategy to make. Make a
Yeah.
decision and then it's like, shoo, it's like a secret code by making a decision that you don't even know is one step closer to the jackpot.
Yeah.
So what's happening now, Pluto going into Aquarius, it's going to go back into Capricorn in June, and it will be in Capricorn again till January of next year.
Oh, wow.
So it's like we just got a taste from March 23rd until June, and that is about AI. It's about rebellion. It's about humanity. It's about UFOs. It's about multi-dimensional space and beings and travel.
This is Mars. Pluto, sorry.
Pluto is the big daddy. I call him Big Daddy.
Oh,
because
okay.
it doesn't, it takes 250 years to go around the zodiac, approximately.
That's right. I did read about
Wow.
this is the biggest
So for the
movement.
rest of our lives, when Pluto moves into Aquarius, it will be there.
No.
It's 250 years?
To go around the zodiac. So the last
okay,
time it
okay.
was in this place was in the 1700s.
Okay.
So it changes
Still.
signs about every 15 to 20 years, depending on the sign.
That's a
Please,
good chunk of
Pluto.
time.
Can I have some more? 1700s, I feel, was like Middle Ages. No.
No, it was when our country was
America. I was like, that's the settlers.
So, okay, that was,
Colonizer vibes. Ugh.
Yeah, the Revolutionary War,
Yes,
1789,
all of that.
right? Okay.
So,
Wow.
you know,
Okay.
so we got a little
So
foreshadowing
Okay, so the
of what
last
we're in
time-
for.
Pluto went into Capricorn or Aquarius?
Aquarius,
Okay,
March
this is-
23rd.
And this is the first time it's been there since the 1700s.
Yes.
And then it's going back into Capricorn.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
until 27 degrees Capricorn, and then at the end of January, it will continue its journey through Aquarius for, I have it written down, but for about 15 years.
Wow.
I will tell you,
20
I like
years.
Aquarius. Aquarius is one of my favorite signs as a
Because your
Pisces.
Mercury's in Aquarius.
Yeah,
Yeah,
mine
the
is
way I
too.
communicate.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like Aquarius carries water. So it's like for us Pisces, it's almost like we get structure, or it's like the rest of the society is going to start to tune into like what we're crazy people feeling. Does that make any sense or no? Is that a wrong reading of this?
Well, I mean, Aquarius is the energy of the innovator, the
Yeah.
genius, the
Yeah.
future. It's about humanity.
It's very Fifth Element. She loves the Fifth Element.
We love
It's
this.
my favorite movie.
Oh
growing
my
up. I used to
gosh.
watch it
Yeah.
over and over.
My
and over
kids
again.
loved it, and I
was
loved it.
obsessed with that. I used to just run around and be like, "Chicken good."
And yes, that's a great analogy
Yeah.
because this multi-dimensional universe is definitely becoming more tangible. So,
Right.
I mean, all the people who know me, who are close to me, know. But I did ayahuasca,
Recently,
and first time in November of
Wow.
2021, and then 6 months later, I wasn't even planning on it. I did it in May of 2022.
amazing. Can I ask you a question before
Sure.
you go forward with your
And my
story?
kids were like, "Who are you?"
A lot of people have told me when you do ayahuasca, it will come to you. You don't
Yes.
seek it out.
Correct.
Ayahuasca seeks you out.
Correct.
You would agree?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
you don't want to just go and experiment and say, "Oh, that ayahuasca, look what they're doing.
Yeah.
Okay, let me try that." No.
Everyone
And-
I've talked to is like the universe is conspired. I was not like Googling retreats. I was just there. It needed to happen. The universe made it happen. And then that was the groundbreaking experience for them.
Yes.
And the people I know that sought it out, there are a few that like went and did it. They were like, I'm glad I did it, but I'm not the same. And like there was 3 people I know that were like, they were like, I hesitate to recommend you to do it.
Don't.
Maybe
yeah.
they weren't ready.
Yeah, I think they might not have been ready. And the general feeling they had was like, it made me a better person. And I saw something that fundamentally changed me, but it's almost like they missed their ignorance.
Oh wow.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, because I guess you can't really go back.
Yeah.
How was
cannot.
your experience? So you did it once and then you went back again 6 months later.
So I did it once, and it was through a friend of mine who is a colleague. We worked together in that spiritual astrology stuff. And I trusted her, and she was telling me, I didn't know anything about it. It was like, I only knew when she told me. And as she was speaking to me, it was like something else was speaking to me. And I was like, I have to go.
Yeah.
I don't even know how I'm going to go, because it was in Costa Rica. I have no idea. And when I tell my kids, they're going to think, Mom, who are you? Because I don't do drugs. I barely drink. It's like I never use profanity with my kids growing up. Even to this day, like I think I said a bad word with Callista, and I said, "Oh, I'm so sorry." She goes, "Mom," like I can't help it. But I
that's cute.
with my
Yeah.
friends and stuff, I can cuss like a sailor.
Yeah.
But I really compartmentalize. And so it was an amazing, the most scariest thing I've ever done in my life. And if anybody who knows me, I am a germaphobe. It's like, especially in the kitchen, I'm ultra clean. I taught my kids, we do not burp at the table, bodily functions. They're like, no, I can't, la, la, la.
I was taught last night, I farted at dinner, and she was like, you gotta go to the bathroom.
Well, I was like, dude, because it starts slow with like a guy.
Yes.
If we were dating, he would never fart in front of me. And then last night, we were literally at dinner, he leaned into it, and I was like,
Eddie!
We ain't fried clams. It was
I don't care. I don't care. I'm like, you need to treat me like a lady,
Yes.
or you'll be dining alone, or with some other bitch. It won't be me.
So when they told me about all the bodily things that would happen, the purging, the, diarrhea, all that stuff,
Yeah,
I
because it
didn't
can
know.
get a little gnarly.
And in a room full of people, that was the only thing that I was like, I don't know. And then I'm very picky about food, so I was thinking, like, what if I can't swallow it? What if it's so bad?
Does it taste bad? People have said that.
So
It's like
for me, I was so happy because to me it was the texture. When they say it's like a tea, no, it's like thick.
it's like muddy a little bit.
Yeah, and it tastes more like raisin prune juice, kind of.
Oh, that ain't bad.
That's not bad.
Exactly.
I was thinking
prune
like
juice.
forest, like
Nope.
bark and grass, and
Maybe a
fuck
little
with prune
bit.
juice.
yeah. Same.
But it was the scariest thing I ever did. But it's the second time I went with my best friend, the one that I'm marrying.
Like how scary,
amazing.
like Tower of Terror scary, or like Harry Potter Universal scary?
Tower of whatever,
dropping
terror
elevator.
times 10.
Yeah, because you get, from what I've heard, I've watched a lot of YouTube videos of people that try to explain their experience. And the one thing is people are like, there's no words, but I'm going to try. And I was fine, I was chilling, and then I was shot into
All that is.
another dimension, and I cannot articulate what that is to you.
Yes.
Which
Really?
is crazy.
So there's no way to explain this.
I just give the explanation that only, for me personally, I would only do it, and I'd never met a shaman in my life.
Yeah.
Only do it with indigenous people who have a connection with the tea, with ayahuasca. They call it Mama Aya.
Yeah.
When you drink ayahuasca, it becomes part of you. It
Wow.
becomes in every cell of your body. And she becomes an energy. So being in a safe place with people that are of a spiritual nature. I mean, I want to say 80% of people go for anxiety or drugs or alcohol or psych problems. And then there's the 20 like me that go for a spiritual awakening. And that's why I went. And did I have a spiritual awakening? Yes. Plus, I got healed at a level I can't put into words.
Wow.
Did you have an experience with Mama Ayahuasca?
Yes.
Because people say she will come to you
She comes
and
to
tell
you.
you something or show
Yes.
you.
Are
And
you allowed to
she's-
say what she showed you or told you?
Oh yeah, there's no secrets.
Yeah.
It's about being authentic.
Yeah.
So it's like her energy kind of sits right here for me. And it's just a presence, it's an energy.
Wow.
It's very healing. It's very rhythmic to me. And anytime that I go into a space of, I don't know what I'm supposed to do, I get really quiet. I don't hear her. It's just a knowing. It's just a knowing. And then it just opened up my intuition since going back.
Wow.
It's like things are really open. My whole business has changed. I'm doing the podcast with Eddie.
Wow, yeah.
Like everything has really shifted in a really magnanimous, amazing way.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Some people told me they explain it as like they see, it's like the feeling of death, and then they see their lives played backwards in moments and like
wow.
really intense pain, like they relive really intense painful moments that were like buried in their memory. And I have a friend that like cried it out
Yep.
and let it go, and like really intense childhood memories.
I saw most of the men had the most extreme reactions
Wow.
and had the like
Crying.
biggest epiphanies and healings.
Yeah.
The owner of the place I went to, Rhythmia, I mean, he tells this story, it's on YouTube, and he went from a drug addict to he was a sex addict, and he was extreme and self-made millionaire. And it got exponentially worse. He was married, he had kids. He says he was the worst human. He was just awful. And then he was going to end it. And then he went to the Philippines, and this woman happened to be there who he knew and said, you know what, you need to go here. And she connected him to a shaman in Costa Rica who was from Africa. He was this big black guy. And he said it was the dirtiest, most horrific place. But the guy was so scary, he just said, I'm going to do whatever you tell me to do.
What?
Yes.
She sounds kind of racist. I'm just kidding.
No, it's a he.
Yeah.
No, he said, you know, so then he did whatever he told him to do, and he took it, and it was not ayahuasca, it was something else. But on this particular thing, that shaman stayed with him during the whole process. It was just one-on-one. And he actually the shaman saw what he was seeing to help him through his journey.
That's wild.
And told him.
Did he say what he saw?
I can't remember all the details, but he went in 2015. He bought the property, I think that weekend or 2 weekends later.
Wow.
He bought the property that the site is on now. And no more, he's not a sex addict, all of that. He's been doing the healing work, he's been on his journey. So from 2015 to 2000 to now, his place has grown leaps and bounds.
I've read a lot about people that like deal with addiction going to do ayahuasca, and they walk out of wherever they are and never touch whatever their vice was again.
Yeah.
They're like, my experience has made me, the thought of it's sickening.
Yeah.
And that's crazy.
You have to be called to it because it's life changing. It's soul
See,
work.
somebody showed up at my house once, like I was just having like a light barbecue, and he showed up with DMT, and I thought about doing it, but I was like, that doesn't feel like the soul calling. That feels like the homie with the pipe.
I had experiences with that too, where somebody's like, do you want to hit this like DMT? And I'm like, no, I absolutely am good.
Yeah, he broke out this stem, and I was like, that looks fine. Like, that looks like it would be a great time. But I'm gonna wait.
Yeah.
You know? But like, so many people just told me, they were just like, it's like seeing your life and rewind. And then it's like the feeling of like death, and you face like, you don't want to die a certain way.
Yeah, so literally everybody has a different experience every time they drink. So you drink for 4 nights at this particular place.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
So you have a whole
4 nights?
4 nights.
You
So
have
from like
different trips.
6 o'clock in the morning from 6 o'clock at night till 3 in the morning.
Do you lose weight drinking ayahuasca?
I didn't.
You have to fast before. Well, I don't
They
know
call
about
it a
every
dieta,
place.
yeah.
But yeah, you're not supposed to have sugar. You're definitely not supposed to drink and smoke weed, right? And then,
and they really don't want you to eat too much meat.
yeah, they want you kind of your body
Clean.
to be.
Okay.
So it's so each experience. So now I've done 8 different.
Wow.
So the first week I did 4, and then the one I did this a year ago I did 4. So 8. Each one were totally different
Each night.
for me personally.
Wow.
And after each ceremony, people get in a circle, and whoever wants to share their experience can share.
Yeah.
And everybody has a different experience.
Okay, give us, I just need a visual. I need a visual of like what this is. Give like one
Have
clip,
you ever seen
one
Alex
scene of
Gray?
this.
I think his name is Alex and Alice Gray.
No.
They're artists. Their last name is Gray.
Yeah.
They're artists. They have a house upstate, and they make art that is a visual representation
that would be cool.
of what happens when you're
That would be cool.
on DMT and ayahuasca, and they're really beautiful. They're really, really amazing, brilliant people.
Julius, we should enter that. We should enter one of these images in the pod here.
They're stunning. So they try to do that. So we'll enter the image, but I would like to
yeah, I
hear.
want to know what like one scene from your ayahuasca trip.
So it was my first night, and they do music as well. So it's this very tribal drumming, beautiful music. So it's like you're getting into this rhythm. You take And the room, it's called a maloka, and it's filled with mattresses. Everybody has their own mattress. They have a bucket, and they have a roll of toilet paper.
Oh,
Wow.
Sounds like my office.
I was gonna say, this is Eddie's daily routine. This is how he writes.
Just fire off emails with a roll of toilet paper next to me.
Yeah.
So I took the first cup, nothing, and they said, my friends told me to sit up. And so I sat up and waited for it to go down, and then nothing. And so then the shaman says, okay, it's time, whoever's ready to come up for your second cup. It's like a shot espresso
so it's not
cup.
much.
No. So I went up and I took the second one and I sat up and I was like, okay, I think I'm starting to feel something. Let me lay down. And then all of a sudden I purged into the bucket and bam, I was shot out into the all that is. No beginning, no end. And I saw the shamans that were there, but they were light. And they were huge light beings with different lights all throughout their body, but I saw them as humans, but it was light. And everything becomes a matrix. It's like when you get on, it's like this matrix rises, and it's like beams of light of just square, you know, a grid. And so their grid was over in the corner, but it was in the all that is. So it was like they were all the way over there. And what I was shared was like, they are protecting the space that we are in.
Wow.
Because all these people are having multi-dimensional experiences all at once, going to the past, going to old hurts, you know, just having all these things, meeting their mom that passed, their wife that passed. So these huge beings were just protecting and dancing to the music to protect the space. And then it was loud. I don't know if you know that, I'm sure you do those ringing things that those hertz that you kind of
like
claim.
frequencies?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then you hear them and they're loud, like there's different frequency sounds. It was loud. And I thought, oh, everything's going to be so quiet in that all that is, but it was loud.
Wow.
And I just felt like it was so disconcerting. And then I came back and it was like, then I would be shot out. And so to know that there is so much we don't know, and so much that is out of our control was terrifying. You know, they talk about these multidimensional beings that come in and do surgeries on these people. People had amazing healings while they were there.
Wow.
It's just something you have to experience for yourself to understand. But and then the second night I had these like tablets. It was so gentle. It was just lights. It was like a light that was around it, like that movie with it's not The Matrix, but with Tom Cruise, where he's in the future.
Vanilla Sky?
No, where he's in the future. And there's like
Oblivion?
No, where he has a screen. Yes,
Minority Report.
Report.
Damn, the Tom Cruise
you,
fans.
Julie.
And so it was like those. It was like just light.
Oh, it's like Jerry Maguire.
And then all these symbols that I'd never seen before, and they just kept coming at me, and going through me.
Could you understand them though?
I
while
didn't
you were there?
understand. No, but then it was shared. I don't know who, but that they were healing all of me's that knew that language.
Wow. That's crazy. So
It's
kind
deep.
of validate. One question I have is, how is your concept of time?
None.
But when did you feel like, wow, I was gone for years when you came
No.
back, or?
There was no time. I didn't feel. I just was present.
Wow.
I was just present.
And ayahuasca, people told me it's like it's a drink that makes like the molecule that when you die, like it's present in your
You
body.
have DMT
Yeah.
in your...
It's bringing something out that I think is only released when we die.
Yes,
right?
it's DMT.
Yeah.
So it's definitely part of my journey. It's something that I would have never consciously made a decision to do because I've always been so safe and that goody two shoes.
Yeah.
And so for me to make that decision just in a place of,
Damn, Julia's cam is down.
Oh my gosh.
Are you all right, bro?
Oh my god.
You all right, Julius?
Okay, something.
Oh shit, it's all good, man. It's all good. Pod's still going. Don't
I know,
worry,
there's
man.
like, don't tell all the
that
ayahuasca
drop?
secrets.
Was that Mama Ayahuasca telling us to shut the fuck up?
No, say what you were saying, Patty. It's all good.
So I would have never searched it out or gone to do it. There was no force in it. There was no, oh, I have to do this. I have to make it happen. It was just like, doom. I just walked.
Yeah.
It just happened.
Ayahuasca is one of those things like the Knicks or food or like dogs or like whatever. I never get bored talking about ayahuasca.
Yeah.
Those are my things I never get bored. I'm just like
There's really
eternally
cool
interested.
documentaries that we should watch.
Yeah.
I'm like so into it. I know it's not my time. I know that it hasn't been my time. I have a lot of friends who have gone and had experiences. Everyone tells me when you're ready,
Yeah.
there will be an undeniable pull and you will feel it. I just know I'm not ready.
Yeah, this is my thing with ayahuasca, right? It's like, this like a treat for when we die? So if it's a treat for when we die,
Well,
maybe I just save it. 'Cause
no.
like, why do it before?
Smoking
No.
DMT, like ripping a pipe of DMT,
Yeah.
is not this. This is a ceremony. Like when you do ayahuasca, now it's been like gentrified and commodified, and it's kind of gross because like white people will go take over a space in Costa Rica and be like, we're shamans because
Yeah.
whatever. But when you do it the way that you did it, like very ceremonially, like this is a sacred practice that people
Sacred.
have been practicing for like thousands of years in their communities.
Yeah.
And there's always been a shaman in these indigenous communities who is like the medicine man, and this is what they do. So I think you're honoring that, and it's not like DMT is just it's in your body. It's what releases when you die. So when you abuse that, yeah, that's like probably a treat. But when you do it this way, I think you're honoring something beyond you. You're connecting
It's
with
really giving you an opportunity to clean up your shit
yeah.
and get back on track.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It really
It's
is.
like, I guess you kind of gotta like dirty your shit up enough to where the universe comes and finds you with this like
Yeah.
drink.
Or I wouldn't say that, I had any real problems,
Yeah.
but what it was I needed more. It's like I've been on the spiritual journey my whole life, and it's like, okay, it's time to go to the next level. It's time to upgrade my intuition, my craft, what I do, what I love. I have put down this so many times, but my astrology, my healing work has always just crawled back in. It's like, Patty, girl, you cannot
Yeah.
not do this.
How do you think it's changed the way that you practice astrology?
I feel like I have more knowing when I look at a chart. The people that come to me now, they find me. I don't even know how they find me.
Wow.
But my practice has exponentially grown since doing ayahuasca. And that is one of the byproducts. Because in this place at Rhythmia, there are 3 things that you're setting intentions for. One is to see who you become. The other is to heal your heart. And the third is, I can't remember because my brain just shut down.
You're fine.
But I didn't do all those 3 things until the second time.
Wow.
But when you get in every crevice of your soul and body and cells, all of a sudden, there's nothing that can stop you because you are finally authentic and I'm ready to be seen. That's really what was healed. It's like, I'm ready to be seen.
Yeah.
I was hiding for a long time.
Wow.
Damn, Patty's outside.
So beautiful.
Patty is outside. Welcome back,
Yeah.
Patty.
Thank you.
It's incredible.
I love it.
Is there anything else you want people to know for the rest of the astrological year? Or even just the next few months coming up?
Truly, it's time to go, to do, to act, to get clarity, to stop allowing fear and other people's vision or version of you to decide how you're going to move in life. This is a time to really connect. Who am I?
Yeah.
Where am I going? What do I want? In spite of if it hurts somebody or makes somebody feel bad, let them feel bad, because that allows them to see who they really are. And if they want to grow, they will. If they don't, they don't. But you're growing, you're moving, you're being who you're supposed to be, and living a life of purpose and possibility.
Purpose.
I like this.
Purpose.
I like this.
I wrote her an email about purpose one day, and it like, you know, it backfired a little, but then we went to the Polo Lounge, and what was at the Polo Lounge? A purpose conference with Kathy
But
Iyer.
I didn't have a ticket to it, so I couldn't get in.
Oh my goodness.
He didn't think
Purpose
all the way through. He was just like, look, there it is. And I was like,
I wasn't thinking anything.
should
I
I,
think
should
the
I go
universe was
in?
like, well, look at this. It's a
think-
conference on purpose.
Yep.
I think the message is I didn't need to go because they wouldn't let me in.
And don't get wrapped up into what you see with these eyes.
Yeah.
Because it's ugly out here.
Yeah.
It is
It's
ugly
bleak
out
times
here.
right now.
If you can help somebody, help them, but help yourself first.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I think everybody has a lot of personal healing to do at any point of their lives. And it's like very hard to help other people if you haven't helped yourself first.
Yep.
Yeah. You have
I
to
mean,
have
both
your
my
cup.
parents are alive. They're in their 80s, and they are still doing the work.
Wow.
Still doing the work, seeing who
amazing.
they are. Yep.
Damn.
It never stops.
It never stops.
Which
And when it
is-
stops, you're done.
Yeah.
Then you get that DMT treat.
Yeah. You get that
Well,
little, that
Nobody
little
gets out of here alive, people.
dribble.
No,
That's
yeah,
true.
you're gonna die. The
That's
DMT
true.
is gonna get loose. Like,
Yeah.
it's gonna.
If you go, I want to go with you, Eddie. I have to be
Yeah.
there.
I'm down, Patty.
Yeah.
I think we would have fun.
Yeah.
I think we would have a great
Yes,
time.
yes.
But Patty, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
Everybody
Thank you.
follow
Wonderful.
Patty. Patty, what's
Fun.
your what's the easiest way to reach you and find you?
Yeah.
Patty K_astro on Instagram. That's my best place, pattykamson.com. I do crystals. That's my new love and passion,
Amazing.
crystalenergyarrangements.com. You can find me in all those places.
Honestly, Patty is the best. I couldn't recommend her more. The only reason I don't recommend her more is because I need to make sure she has time for me.
Of course.
So I recommend her medium, right? But Patty, really like very special relationship,
Thank
very
you.
special person. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Thank you.
You're the
Mwah.
best.
Thank you so much.
You're the best.
And my new girl.
Yeah.